I am unapologetic about stepping in and using those same things to help people become addicted to what they want anyway. Everybody wants to feel better, look better, have more money, have better relationships and all those things. And the ones that go looking for it, I will add this to what you were saying.
Welcome to the Growth Life Podcast, where we celebrate individuals and their stories about moments where they were courageous enough to embrace uncertainty, brave enough to love diversity, and smart enough to realize that they don't know everything. The Growth Life Podcast shares stories of growth in all areas: careers, mindset, relationships, wealth, and health.
All right, welcome back to the show. We are the Growth Life community, and for anyone who's brand new to this podcast, you're in for a treat. I know we say that every episode, but this one in particular is really special. And for anyone who's new, I'll say, the Growth Life community is a community of people where we're vulnerable, we're courageous, and we believe that true fulfillment comes from daily growth. So I can't think of two people that I could bring together on an episode that reflects the Growth Life more than these two gentlemen with me today. Now, many of you know Rod Harrison because he's my beloved co-host on the show and also interviews people, but today I'm interviewing him. I've got some questions, and then there's this really cool guy named Joseph McClendon III, who happens to be good friends with Rod, and they have a really cool story, and that's a big part of what this podcast is all about, just in terms of how they met and how their lives have come together at this point in the journey of a mutual passion they both share. But a little bit about Joseph before we get into some fun conversation. Many of you might know Joseph from the UPW Unleash the Power Within events, where he's up on stage really encouraging people to shake some, get in state and have a good time with Mr. Anthony Robbins. You might even find him at a lecture if you go to the UCLA or even Harvard. He has a doctorate in neuropsychology, which just brings a whole nother element of fun to the personal development world, which both of these gentlemen know very, very well. So with that, I want to kick off and just start with something more personal with the both of you and just say, both of you take a turn here. How did you meet, and what would you say is the fondest moment or memory that you have in sort of that first few years of actually getting to know each other? I think the audience might enjoy this. So why don't you start, Joseph, or Rod, either way.
Well, Let me start. He'll take what I'm going to say.
Get your licks in fast and quick, buddy, all right?
No, Joseph was our head trainer when I started with Robbins, and I was this new trainer, and Joseph was our head trainer. And so he taught us the ropes. But the most valuable lesson I learned from Joseph was in order to support people in growing and breaking patterns, you had to not take it so personally. Like, you could take on a lot of that emotional patterns, a lot of, self-esteem issues, a lot of the things that we would experience going to any of the events. And I remember one particular time I went to Joseph at my first event, and I was frantic. And I was like, Joseph, this young lady's got issues and I don't know what to do. And Joseph was like, Rod, calm down, listen to me. Here are the keys to my car. Go out to my car. It's a green Mercedes. I'm like, okay. He goes, open the trunk. I'm like, okay. He goes, take out the gas can. Okay. Find the girl. Okay. Come back and pour gasoline all over her. Yeah. Light a match. And I was like, what? He goes, lighten up. You're not going to make it till tomorrow. Lighten up, okay? Either light her on fire to lighten up, or lighten up. She's going to be okay. And that was the attitude I took with me for the next 20 years of being a trainer, is that I can't take it on personally. And that's not caring. It's not caring to take on their pain. It's caring to help interrupt their pattern. So he interrupted mine. And that was my first real experience with Joseph McClendon. Thank you very much. It scarred me for life.
And you've spent several decades now getting over those emotional scars. Well, thank you for reminding me of that. And that came from my many lessons that I've learned from so many other people as well. And that was it. I had a practice in Los Angeles for many years, and I really, kind of like what you were saying, Tanya, I would get really involved in their problems. And at the end of the day, after working with 3, 4, 5 people, I was depressed. And so what I started to realize was that you were saying, Rod, was I had to lighten myself up. I had to realize that, wait a minute, I can't help them if I go down deep with them like that. It's not that I don't care, but I had to lighten up. But I don't know if you remember this, Rod. First off, thank you for that walk down memory lane. But when you and I first became friends, because like you said, at that time, I was managing and running the trainer program there, but you and I became friends. All of the trainers, I had invited probably 10 of the trainers to go to dinner one night. And I said, when the event was finished, and it was somewhere, I don't remember where the event was, but it was somewhere in the Midwest somewhere, Rod. I don't remember where it was. But I invited probably 10, 15 people. I invited them to dinner. And Rod was the only person that showed up. And so we sat and talked, and I got it. That's where we became close. And I got it that this is a guy that he gets it, and he's there not for himself. He's there to really not make something for himself, but to really help people and help people move to the next level. And I remember we started talking about, okay, well, where we go from here, what happens outside of here. And Rod shared with me some of the dreams and goals that he had, and all of them, including, you remember the book title and thing that you talked to me about that I told you. Including things he wanted to do. And everything was about, lending his expertise and helping people. And that's where I fell in love with this guy and recognized that I knew at some point that we would work even closer than we were. And then we spent several decades, in and out, and kind of ships passing in the night sometimes, working in that organization. But I've been friends ever since.
Beautiful. These stories, I think we just got started with learning just how funny the two of you really are.
Well, you gotta have fun, Tanya. You have to, otherwise it's.
You have to. I so agree. The comic relief working with this crazy bunch of people is just invaluable every single day. Let's talk about this crazy group of people, which I know we've really come to an awesome place where our visions have collided in a masterful way. And there's some great things in store where our teams are really working together. And let's talk a little bit about what you've learned. And Rod, you can absolutely share it first, because I know this is something that, you've had in your vision for a little while. It just, timing is key in life. So when we think about what we're doing with Growth U and the community overall, talk a little bit about what that vision is and how it's coming together, where Joseph is right there. Couldn't be better timing for this.
Well, one of the things, and I'm going to bring Tony in on this a little bit. I was talking to Rock Thomas at the event. I just came back from LA to watch Joseph and Tony do UPW. And again, I think he did a beautiful job. And Tony was a rock star. And one of the things that Rock Thomas said, just the training that we've gone through and experiences of being in a room with 15,000 people and having to keep 15,000 people's attention for 4 days, right? For over 9-10 hours. And, and really keep those people, again, engaged and making each person feel like you're speaking to them. So whether we were doing 4-day events, 5-day events, going to Fiji or wherever we were going, we learned how to really impact people in a very, very powerful way, more than sort of what was going on in the personal development world out there. So I've learned that it's a lot of beautiful work out there, and it's a lot of beautiful people that teach out there, and they do a great job. And instead of putting them down, I think what we need to do is raise what we learn up, right? They do a great job, but man, the world that we were in, I remember doing discovery camp and keeping kids, engaged for 7 days, right? Mm-hmm. Without the parents, just 1,100 kids from 19 different nations, keeping those kids engaged, right? Without Tony being there. And that work, that energy, that that sort of chemistry, that stimulation is what we learn how to do and really impact people in a powerful way. So having Joseph and I be able to come together and bring our teams together and bring the people that we've been working with, like you, Tanya, and the rest of my team, and then the people that's working with Joseph and him together, what can we do? What can we do if we put it on videos and we built online communities, if we took it to the world? What could we do? Especially with now almost 30 years of doing this work together, what can we leave? What legacy can we leave? And I think that's really what it is, taking everything that we were blessed to learn from Tony, not just from him personally, but the experiences that he helped create so that we can actually build that muscle. And so again, that's what I watched. I watched a very sovereign man this week on stage hold a crowd of 15,000 people with his sheer energy and love for them. And now we're going to transfer that to several videos, several assets, several programs that are going to be international. So that's our vision.
Awesome. Thank you. Joseph, how about you? Where's that vision meet for you?
Well, you couldn't have said it any better that, this intersection where we are, it could not be better timing. First off, thank you for saying that, Rob, because you're absolutely right. It is, that desire to share and to help others grow. And mine comes from, somebody helped me when I was at a bad time in my life. And I've had coaches and mentors through time, and now it's my turn to give back. And I'm at this stage in my career where I love to do what I do, share this and everything. However, I have not had, I'll be straight up candid with you. I have the glory job of showing up, running my mouth, and going away. I really don't have a team of my own, and it has been by design because I have enjoyed doing this. I have promoters all over the world that, they'll put the butts in the seats, they'll do all those things, and I'll show up. The downside of that is it's a limited audience. It truly is. So I get to show up and only speak to that particular audience. And even, again, we were just at 15,000 people. And that is limited in its scope. And so what I've been looking for some time is a team of people to work with, a team of people that was on the same page, right timing. And when I got the call from Rod, it's been about maybe 2.5 months ago, it was like the lights went on. I went, well, of course. And then when I learned about everything that you all have created and the opportunity to be a part of this team, that lit me up because that's my next step. I've been doing a lot of television and a lot of television programming and things like that. And my goal is to reach as many people as possible. And what better platform than what has been set up here? And as Rod so elegantly put it, Joseph, now you have a team and now you have a family. So I'm so excited about that. And it could not be better timing.
Beautiful. You absolutely have a team and a family. And I think one of the best things about this platform we've developed with Growth U is this concept that people can move into the daily aspect of all of the brilliance that they learn at these transformative events. And that both of you do such a fantastic job of really creating that desire to step up and have people take responsibility. So bringing it back to everyday life, day to day, and what people move through, all the growth, all the gems that we value so much, in a platform where it brings it to your home and into your daily practice. And when we think about personal development, we think about the industry, you two are when you think about your ability to take concepts and get it to a place where people, they get it, and then they're willing to do that consistent work to actually apply it. We think about the industry in this decade and where we're headed in the next decade. Can you talk a little bit about how it's changed, how personal development's changed, especially in the last 5 or so years, and where we're going with personal development, and how you two in particular are leading the way or embracing what has worked really well and maybe doing it differently?
Well, if you think about it, I had dinner in LA and we were talking about social media. And it's so funny because depending upon the age of the people at the table, is whether they liked it or not, right? So the older people at the table was like, it's destroying our nation, and I was like, our grandparents said that about boom boxes, right? We don't even know what boom boxes are anymore. But the big radios, it's just going to destroy our nation. I said, it's just where we're going. It's here. And the reason I say that is because this whole idea of sort of, I like to read, again, life leaves clues, right? And so instead of fighting it, go with it. So what are people doing now? Well, they're getting their learning, their connection, they're getting it in that place. They've conditioned themselves to go online. Again, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I saw Joseph already. I'm giving coaching away on Instagram, right? So it's really interesting because, again, Joseph is growing. He's actually going with what works versus defying it. Well, because we're building programs that behavioralize your vision, right? And that's really what it is. I create a vision, and now I go home. And what happens? How do I get that vision to my identity? How do I get it there? And I think that that's where we are the best in the world. And it's it's so easy to kind of go and talk to Joseph about it because, again, Joseph was like, this is exactly what's absolutely needed. I love what you guys have created. It instead of creating one myself, which I was going to do, I'll join your team. So this idea of utilizing sort of this habit that people have of going to social media on a consistent basis, checking in, getting their needs met, being stimulated, why not put that in a program for them? Why not use that same habit of consistency and help them grow towards their vision, right? And so what are people saying? Well, people say right around if they do a 45-day, around day 30, they're going, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? And now that part right there, people might say, well, Rod, that's isn't that brainwashing? Well, they've lost 20 pounds. They're earning more. They're happier. Their relationship is happier. So if I got to get them addicted to their own growth and their own success, moving towards their own vision, moving towards their own identity and their own purpose and the categories in their own life at home with their own relationships, absolutely. I don't have a problem creating an addiction to their growth. And that's exactly what we are good at. And that's what we want to do. We want you to be addicted to the best you, because you're going to be addicted to something anyway. So that's my whole take on this whole thing.
Could not have put it better myself, my friend, because there's so much distraction out there, and every single one of those distractions is designed to addict us.
That's right.
Just from a pure psychological standpoint, pretty much everything that you look at, whether it's that screen you're holding in your hand, whether it's a screen that you're watching, in your living room, or the radio, or whatever that's out there, it is designed through repetition. And, you and I talked about it before. There's actually 12, but there's 6 main markers that the media industry, media machine uses to literally addict you, to cause you to buy more, to continue to watch television, to feel certain ways about yourselves, and so on and so forth. So I agree with you. I am unapologetic about stepping in and using those same things to help people become addicted to what they want anyway. Everybody wants to feel better, look better, have more money, have better relationships and all those things. And the ones that go looking for it, I will add this to what you were saying. I'm old enough to remember that it's gone from records to 8-tracks to cassettes to DVDs and CDs to MP3s and all those things. Technology marches on. It's not going to stop. So what you said is so true. Embracing it and utilizing it, and everything some of the unseen things that you and I have the privilege of being able to see behind the things on a lot of the programming and things that are going on, to utilize that stuff too. If somebody reaches out, if somebody goes to a seminar or not, and they are interested in personal development, and they don't even know what personal development is, they just want to be a better person, or as you said, Rod, the best version of themselves. And we can help them, and no matter where they get started, whether it is a seminar, because I always say, you heard me say it yesterday, that you're going to leave here, and unless you have a next step, you have unfortunately may fall prey to the powers that be, those influences that are going to drag you back. So the beauty of what Growth U has created and what it's doing is giving them a next step and keeping them in that, keeping them marching forward and going. And as you said, I don't like to use the word addicted, but getting themselves that compelling future and that pull to the future that they want, that they design. And there's nothing, in my opinion, more healthy and more encouraging to a person for them to wake up and go, I can be more, and I'm becoming, and I'm being more, and looking forward to whatever it is that's going to help them do that. And that's what we provide.
Absolutely. Immersion. And that's what we want. We want you immersed. Mm-hmm. Immersed. And that's what TV does. That's what the drugs, your food. So why not grow you?
And most people don't realize it. Most people, it's just the day-to-day going to, from one step to the other, and recognizing that finally, in our world, we meet people that, come into our world going, I want something better. Whether they got, from one end of the spectrum, from whether they got dragged to a seminar or whether they went there on their own. The lights come on and they go, I want more.
Right.
And so the unfortunate side of workshops and seminars and things like that is it stops there. You're not going to have that energy, when you go home. I told people yesterday, you're going to leave here and there's not going to be 15,000 people to hug you. There's not going to be 15,000 people and somebody on stage to tell you to stand up and move your body and to teach you things. So you need to have that. And right now you can have it in your pocket. You can have it in your phone. You can have it on online, whatever. And once you get, I'll go back. I said, I don't like using that word, but once you get addicted to that, that's such a healthy addiction that here's the beautiful part of it is you cannot grow without growing other people around you as well. Growing other people and actually casting off those that are poison to you as well.
Absolutely. I was just talking to somebody recently and I was saying, routines are really, really good. Rituals are really good if it's tied to your growth, not to your certainty, right? And that's what we've created as well. So we've created a very routine, ritualistic, beautiful ritualistic way of rewarding yourself because you're growing. And as you grow, you get to see, you become someone new. And as you become someone new, it's so fulfilling. It's so fulfilling that in every aspect of your life, forget your chronological age when you're growing, right? Start looking at your biological age, from what you put into your body and what you put into your mind, because you learn things about yourself that's so absolutely magnificent. And it's so interesting that you watch people, I was looking at watching Joseph on stage and his youthfulness is just incredible. And looking at Tony, from who Tony is, he shouldn't even be able to walk, honestly.
Absolutely.
I mean, right? So when you look at how good he looks and his youthfulness and his ability to get up in front of the room and command that crowd, have all of that power and be able to do that where a 20-year-old couldn't do that for 2 hours with that level of energy. That comes from growing, my friends. That comes from expanding your mind and continuously reinventing yourself through just pushing yourself into that beautiful uncertainty of your gifts, your genius, your potential. And this is what we're excited about.
Yep, we sure are. Well, with that, I'd rather leave our audience kind of hanging in a sense that it's just a taste of so much more that's coming. And so stay connected to everything we offer, podcasts, blogs, membership to our private Facebook page. You really want to be a part of what we're doing. We truly got started and there's a whole nother world for you. And it's really, we make it easy for you. That's the main thing, because we know you'll move through growth and challenges come along with it. And that's where all the beauty is, and it's waiting for you. So looking at it intentionally and seeing that you started this when you saw that there's so much more that you're capable of, and that vision that's casted is leading the way. So with that, have a fantastic day. Thanks for listening, and so much more in store for you. So take care, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom.
Thank you both, by the way. That was such a treat.
Thank you so much for catching this episode of the Growth Life Podcast. Join us at growth-u.com. That's growth-u.com.